All right, man. Nothing to it but to do it. Let's go. Let's go. If I started playing RPGs today, here is exactly what I would do. This video is part advice, part nostalgia, part strategy guide, part recommendation list. Honestly, it's a little bit of everything. It's warnings, it's celebrations, and it's a whole lot of love for one of the greatest genres in gaming, RPGs. And today we're exploring 6 big ideas about RPGs to set up what I'm calling the ultimate beginner's guide to RPGs. I want to say it's a beginner's guide, sure, but sincerely, even die-hard RPG veterans will probably appreciate what I've collected here, what I've put together based on the comments straight from you all. I made a post on YouTube about if I started playing RPGs today, what would I do? And I asked you guys for advice, and you shared a lot of advice for me, and so that's where I've gathered the advice for this video. This is all backwards, but we're gonna look at the why, the what, the how, the but, the yet, and the so's. Let's start with why. So the big question is why? Why should you play RPGs? Or if you're already a fan, it might be, why do we love RPGs so much? You know, there's something about RPGs. There's this magic, this weird timeless pull that keeps drawing people back generation after generation. There's nothing quite like wandering through an old 8 or 16-bit dungeon on the Super Nintendo, the Genesis, the Master System, whatever. And there's nothing like losing yourself in a massive, modern, open world where every hill, every ruin, and every hidden little cave feels like a secret that's catered just for you. And yeah, of course, there's awesome swords and magic systems and all kinds of wild stuff going on, but really, all of that plays a role, right? But I think it's deeper than that. RPGs are about growth. They're about watching yourself, or at least your character, become something more than what they were at the start. And that feeling it's powerful. It's satisfying. It's honestly kind of addictive in the absolute best way. Because at their core, RPGs are about progression. Leveling up never gets old. Watching those numbers go up, your HP, your MP, your strength, that experience bar just inching forward, it hits the same part of the brain that loves personal improvement. Every victory is a little reward for what you have accomplished. Every battle you survive feels like a step forward. You are always building towards something. And that is where the magic kicks in. Sure, other genres are fun, they're fast, they're flashy, they get your adrenaline going, sure. But RPGs are about depth. They make you slow down, they make you think. They make you plan and strategize, and they shape your character's identity. Every choice, from how you distribute stats to how you respond in dialogue, tells the game who you want to be.
You convinced me of that. So stay strong.
Are you noble, honorable, selfless? Or are you a scoundrel, a rogue, a cad? Someone who bends the rules to make sure things get done. That's your choice. RPGs let you try on different versions of yourself. They let you experiment with your identity. And the best ones let you see the consequences. The good, the bad, the heartbreaking, or even the hilarious. But none of that matters without a world worth living in. Now this is where RPGs absolutely shine. The storytelling, the characters, the world building, that's the heart and soul of the genre. RPGs stick with you long after you're done playing, not just because they're fun, but because they mean something. You remember the characters, you remember the choices, you remember how it felt to be there. RPGs make you care. You watch characters grow, you watch them struggle and change. And by the time you hit the emotional climax of the story, it feels earned because you went through it with them. You didn't just witness the story, you participated in the story, you lived it, you played that role. And look, we can't talk about RPGs without talking about the sciencey sort of side of things. Yes, there is a dopamine factor. That little hit of happiness that you get, that loop of grinding in an RPG, of upgrading, exploring, and chasing that next piece of loot is absolutely chemically addictive. It's the kind of gameplay where you sit down to play for 30 minutes and suddenly it's 2 a.m. And in a world where so many people feel burned out, they feel tired, they feel sick, they feel stuck, stepping into a world that rewards you consistently just feels good. It feels meaningful, it feels right. But that's not the whole story. RPGs aren't just grind machines. They're full of discovery. You never know in an RPG what's around the next corner. It could be a hidden boss, it could be a new town, a secret dungeon, a tiny little side story that makes the world richer. RPGs are worth playing because it's not just one thing, it's everything. The storytelling, the growth, the exploration, the strategy, and the emotion. RPGs don't always test your reflexes, but they absolutely challenge your mind and your heart. They can make you laugh, they can make you think, they can even make you cry. They remind us that games can be more than winning. They can be about becoming. So whether you've been playing RPGs for years or you're jumping in for the very first time, there has truly never been a better time. RPG fans are eating good right now. RPGs aren't just about escaping reality. They're about exploring possibility. In the game, of course, and honestly, at the risk of sounding corny, it's about exploring the possibility in yourself.
What do you fight for?
It wasn't the only thing that mattered to you.
I believe there's something out there more valuable than wealth.
That was the why of RPGs, right? And so let's get on to the next part. Let's talk about the what. So where are we going? What is the what? What is the best starting point for RPGs? Here's the truth. There's really no wrong answer, but there are a lot of right answers. Before the end of this section, I will tell you the #1 recommended RPG by viewers on this channel. But before we crown that champion, let's break down some things based on where you are as a player. What are you looking for? What do you value? And how deep do you want to go? Here's some recommendations for starting RPGs, or for finding a new RPG for those who have been playing. So the first question is, where are you in your journey? Picking your first RPG is like picking your first car, I guess. Sure, you could start with something that's going to be wildly memorable, like a 1993 Plymouth Duster that shakes apart at 45 miles per hour. Rest in peace, my beautiful boy. You were too good for this world. But why not pick something a little more reliable? Something that's fun and maybe less likely to explode if you make a mistake with allocating statistic points. Let's talk about some categories, because once you know what kind of RPG player you might be, you're going to have an easier time picking an RPG. Maybe you're the type of person that says, I want a really strong story, I want some simple gameplay. Totally valid. You want vibes, you want emotion, I get it. You want characters who feel like real people, or at least real anime protagonists who shout inspirational things at the sky and in battle. These recommendations are the, curl up with a warm drink and emotionally devastate me RPGs. These are the type of games where mechanics kind of take a sidestep and go, you know what? Here you go, feel something, feel something. Final Fantasy X. If you want a game that hits you right in the feelings, punches you right in the gut, this one is basically a beautiful, beautiful heart punch wrapped in a road trip. It's an emotional game, it's reflective, and it's a story that sticks with you long after the credits roll. It's about questioning what is real, what isn't real, and it's about letting go. In the same vein, you might also consider Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII is the type of game that starts huge, has a giant scope, but then it gets personal with each character, and it gets personal fast. And suddenly, it's not about just saving the world, it's about saving the people that you were emotionally invested in a way that you didn't particularly sign up for. It has one of the most heartbreaking deaths in the game. And if you want a journey that messes with your heart, and messes with your head, this is the one. Dragon Quest V. If you're looking for a game that sneaks up on you and becomes way more emotional than you might expect, hey, this is your game. Dragon Quest V finds you playing out the entire life of a hero. It's warm, it's heartbreaking, it's very hopeful, of course, and it's honestly one of the most human stories in all of gaming. Of course, you could consider Undertale. This game may look simple, but it will make you question your choices. It'll make you question your empathy and why a group of monsters might make you feel something you didn't expect. It makes you question every character you decide to save or kill. If you're not sure if you're the good guy or the bad guy, this might be the one to consider. It's a story that will surprise you emotionally at every turn. And when it's over, I dare say it will leave you empty, in a very good way or in a very, very bad way. Sea of Stars is a game that starts off like a cozy little adventure, but eventually it changes into something deeper. It changes into something sweeter, and it's a lot more emotional than it might first appear. If you're looking for a modern game with some old school vibes that also will tug at your heartstrings, You can't go wrong with this one either. Okay, so maybe those aren't the type of games you're looking for. What about the games that are a little more strategic? Maybe you're thinking, I want strategy. I want to push my brain. You can definitely get that with RPGs. Maybe your ideal Saturday night is min-maxing on, I don't know, taxes or something. I get it, sure. You might want an RPG that makes you think, I don't know, 3 turns ahead, a game where you're playing 4D chess, a game where making a single mistake might mean ruin for you. These are the kind of games where the tutorials give you confidence, but the gameplay takes it away. You should consider the Fire Emblem series. If you're looking for strategy games that make you emotionally attached to every single character on the battlefield, Fire Emblem is basically a factory for feelings. If you play with permadeath on, you will find yourself restarting the game over and over because you just don't want to see anyone die. And unless you're an insane tactician, die they will. These stories will turn tactical decisions into that heartbreak. It turns it into triumph. And it turns gameplay into moments where you say, I can't lose this person. I have to try again. It can be difficult, but it is also extremely rewarding. Divinity Original Sin 2 is a game that is packed with strategy. It's the kind of RPG where your choices matter so much that they haunt you, and that can be a very good thing. The story is, of course, full of emotional weight, it has a lot of surprising humanity to it, and the characters will genuinely move you. It's a lot of strategy, but it will pull you in and it will not let you go. Baldur's Gate 3, an extremely popular one. If you're looking for a game that'll hit the whole gambit, you'll laugh and cry and you'll question life decisions. It's basically a roller coaster for feelings, but with swords. It's hard not to get attached to the characters of Baldur's Gate 3. It's also incredible to have the insane amount of freedom that you gain in Baldur's Gate 3. But the story, again, it's emotional and personal, and for a game that has so many choices in it, it is shockingly good to make every one a possible stab to your heart. Triangle Strategy. This game is a political drama that is an absolute emotional gut punch when you realize how much weight your decisions carry and how much that affects the people that you care about. It's a thoughtful, very dramatic, and heartbreaking kind of story, but it's absolutely worth your time, and it is a great strategy game. Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles. If you're looking for an RPG that will hit you with betrayal, with tragedy, and a story that is just so incredibly real you can't doubt it, Final Fantasy Tactics is emotionally brilliant and strategically brilliant. It's a journey that will stick with you because the gameplay is incredible and the story is incredible. And it's hard not to see yourself reflected in the character struggles when every choice feels painfully human. And for another strategy RPG recommendation, Shining Force 1 and 2. These games are charming, obviously, they're beautiful, and they seem really simple at first, but you might find yourself attached to every member of your growing army, and you kind of end up treating them like a pixelated family. You want to succeed in fights, and you want them to succeed in fights. You want to see these characters happy. If you're looking for classic strategy RPG sort of stuff, heart, hope, warm, nostalgic, emotional pull, these games are awesome. Maybe you're the type of person that just wants exploration. You want a world that you can really get lost in. You are part of the Wanderers, the people that are map completion sickos. You're not alone. If the game shows you a path, your brain goes, no, we ain't doing it. I'm going that way. Or what's that over there? These are RPG recommendations for that type of person. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. While not a typical traditional RPG, it is hard not to absolutely love this game. It is a world where every corner holds a secret and every climb up a mountain feels like a small personal triumph. It's of course about saving Hyrule, no surprise there, but it's also about discovering how far you will go when everything's at stake. It's about taking a terrible situation and turning it into a grand situation. It's about exploring the beauty that is Legend of Zelda. And while you're not crunching numbers, it has enough RPG-like elements that I have no problem recommending it. Skyrim. In Skyrim, your story is not like written in the stars. It's not carved out by the gods. It's carved by your choices. You might find yourself roaming around some snowy peaks or getting lost in some dank dungeons. But every decision shapes the legend that you leave behind in the world of Skyrim. It is a huge endeavor, particularly with many distractions and side quests, but there is a reason that it is one of the most beloved RPGs of all time. Xenoblade Chronicles. Xenoblade Chronicles as a whole just seems to make these breathtaking worlds that are absolutely jam-packed with unforgettable companions and heart-wrenching decisions. Oh my goodness. There are so many breathtaking vistas where you can just stop and look around and take in the world around you. You see something in the distance and you go, you know what? I want to go there. Or you see a giant monster and you go, I'm coming back for you. Every battle, every conversation, and every twist in these games pull you deeper into a story that is about connection. And that is a grand adventure. And of course, to match Skyrim, we have to go with Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. The Wasteland is brutal. It is brutal. I mean, war never changes, right? But it's yours to explore. It's yours to survive and to shape every choice. Who do you trust? Who do you fight? Who do you save? Every one of these ideas leaves a mark on the world that feels as alive and broken as you are as a character. Exploration games like these certainly encourage you to touch grass. I mean, it might be digital grass, but whatever, it's at your own pacing.
It was all for nothing.
Here it comes!
Maybe you're the type of player that says, turn-based combat, that sucks. Give me the good stuff. You're looking for action. You're not looking for menus. You're not looking for emulating windows. You're not looking to stare at bars as they fill up. You want to hit things, and you want to hit things now. So where should you start? Consider Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is a world that is part Final Fantasy and part Disney, and it's hard not to love that. It's a place where friendship and light battle darkness across a lot of different worlds. Recognizable characters from Disney show up, recognizable characters from Final Fantasy show up. Every choice, every ally that you join up with, and every heart you touch shapes a story that's much bigger than you've ever imagined. Much more confusing in the end too, but the beginning's pretty simple. Tales of Arise. This is a world on the brink of change, where every fight and every friendship absolutely matters. Your journey might be about defeating enemies. Sure, that's basically every game, right? But in this game, among the flashy combat and all the things that are happening, the awesome gameplay, it's also about discovering who you really are. Nier Automata. Whew, you looking for action? This is a good place to be, right? This is a game where the lines between humanity and machine are blurred, and you're walking around in a world that is both beautiful and broken, and beautiful and broken. Every battle you fight, and every revelation pushes you to question, what does it actually mean to live, to be alive? Final Fantasy 16. Oh boy, the absolute political intrigue, the kingdom torn by power, betrayal, and destiny awaits you. It's Final Fantasy. You and your brother find your path through war and heartache, and this ends up shaping a world that absolutely refuses to stay the same. And I'm afraid any further than that would be spoilers. It is a fun and beautiful dynamic. Last but not least, Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. Now, you can't really go wrong with any of the Ys games, but they are different. They're varying in difficulty and complexity. This one finds the main character shipwrecked on a mysterious island, and you work to uncover danger and wonder as you go. As you are fighting to survive on this island, you'll also uncover stories that will stay with you long after the journey ends and, Adolf's hung up his boots or whatever, at least for this game. The E series is known for that incredible action, and you'll definitely find it here. Maybe you're looking for that classic RPG experience, just the RPG experience, right? Give me the good stuff, the old stuff, the retro stuff, the nostalgic stuff. You, my friend, are looking for tradition. You want pixel art, you want noble quests, you want elemental weaknesses, and a protagonist that wakes up late for something important or doesn't remember who he is. Hey, I got you covered. Final Fantasy IV. This is a hero's journey that is full of love and loss and change and unexpected twists. It's about character development. It's about seeing the good guys win and the bad guys go down. Every choice and sacrifice that you make shapes not just your fate, but the shape of the entire world. Hey, and that's Final Fantasy. Earthbound. Oh, it's quirky, it's weird, it may be a little less traditional, but it's a very big staple in the community at this point. This is a heartfelt journey about a bunch of kids that are going across a strange world filled with laughter and danger and just weirdness. Every friend that you meet and make along the way, every challenge that you face, regardless of how weird, the friends and the challenges, it reminds you that even small heroes matter. Golden Sun. This is pretty classic stuff. It's about magic, it's about friendship, and it's about ancient secrets that intertwine in a world that's waiting to be saved. Like this, your job, man, get on it. Every battle and puzzle draws you a little closer to a story that's, of course, bigger than you might have imagined. It's that trope, but it works extremely well, and it is manifest in Golden Sun. Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue. Well, you know what Pokemon is probably. I mean, it's the highest earning IP in the world. You explore and you battle, you grow alongside your little Pokemon companions who become your family. You're seeking to be the very best. You make choices, you fight people, you capture Pokemon, and every victory shapes your story and leads you closer to becoming the dude, the wonder, the greatest of all time. The games I just talked about are kind of the blueprint. There's a lot of other traditional RPGs, obviously, but these are the DNA. There's a reason that these tropes and stuff exist, and I would argue that it's these sort of games. But the most recommended RPG among my viewers, according to that post, is probably not a big surprise. After looking through so many comments and seeing this name pop up so consistently in comments on other videos as well, including a video where I talked about how important this game is, the number one most recommended RPG is Chrono Trigger, and I can't say that I disagree. It's not the flashiest game, but it is flashy. It's not the darkest game, but it is dark. And it's not the most modern game by any means, but it is so well made. Chrono Trigger is timeless, masterful RPG storytelling. As great as it is, you might think that it's a very complex game, but no, not really. It's approachable, completely approachable for newcomers. It's also deep and rewarding for veteran players. If you're an RPG lover and you haven't played it, boy, have I got a treat for you. This game is as good as people tell you. It's beautiful, it's funny, it's emotional, and it's absolutely unforgettable. It is the game by which we compare all other RPGs, really. If RPGs were food, Chrono Trigger is a feast that you will never forget. It is a game where you are traveling through time, participating in a story where every choice affects the world and every friendship affects the world, and those echo across centuries. The scope is huge. From charm and laughter to absolute heartbreak, every moment shapes a journey that you will not forget. And there's a reason so many people think it is one of the best RPGs of all time. On the screen here, I'm putting a list of the top 10 beginner-friendly RPGs that were suggested by my viewers, right? I would encourage you to screenshot this or whatever the case may be. Feel free to drop your information, drop your suggestions in the comments as well regarding this. But I wanted to put this here for you as a list of suggestions. But this is not the end of this video. Oh no, there's more to go. These games are perfect introductions, and there are zero regrets if you play these. Except for maybe if you try to get into that Kingdom Hearts lore, because holy smokes, you need a PhD for that stuff. If you've enjoyed the video so far, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sticking through it. Most of my videos are retrospectives on RPGs, not necessarily a guide on like playing RPGs like this. But if you want more content like this, I'd love to know that. If you're looking for RPG content in general to learn about a bunch of new games and have more suggestions, I highly recommend you check out the other videos on the channel. And if this is your stick, consider subscribing. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you. And of course, I want to thank all my Patreon followers. I'll put them right here, of course. And of course, a huge thank you to the two hero bros on the channel, Char and Alec. Thank you for spending your hard-earned money on my content. And thank you for giving me your time. Let's continue. But now that you have the why play RPGs, you have the what, which RPG should you be playing, right? What RPG should I play? How about this? How? How should I approach these RPGs? How do I do this without getting overwhelmed? Let's talk about it. Okay, so you've picked your game, right? You have your game and you're staring at the menu screen and you're feeling a little overwhelmed. Let me simplify. Let me give you some tips that might help you simplify these things, how to approach these things, right? Here's my first tip. Don't read every tutorial. Learn by doing it. Some RPG tutorials are fantastic, but many of them can be absolutely overwhelming. It's just so much information shot straight at your face on the screen. Most RPG tutorials kind of read like car rental contracts. The game will naturally show you what matters, and usually it'll show you right before you need it. It's obviously important to understand the tutorials, but not at the cost of having fun. You will figure it out. Don't stress about that. And if not, someone on YouTube has probably explained the mechanics anyways. Just check out one of their videos, right? Tip number 2, don't stress about the statistics. Listen, you're not defusing a bomb. You're not eugenically choosing the future for your unborn child. You're just distributing points into hit harder and don't die. And maybe some cool moves that you might pick up. Lots of games allow you to redistribute your points later on. Some don't, but at some point you just have to make that choice. The big trick is not stressing yourself out regarding the decisions that you have made. It will be okay. You can't ruin your character unless you're playing Shin Megami Tensei. Then yes, you absolutely can. Don't play that one first. That's a much later game. Tip number 3, it's normal to feel lost or just overwhelmed at the start of a game. Every RPG has that 2 to 3 hour period where the game is like, in the blaze-wind shadowed realms of Gorthulaven, where the silvered towers of Drimmerith, the illustrious blah 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 blah. It's just gobbledygook. It's just gobbledygook. Eventually, you'll really get a hang of the names in games. I struggle with this myself. You will learn what's important in the game. If it's important, it'll show back up. If it's not important, who cares? It's just a lot to deal with. Here's your world. Here's your destiny. Here's your party. Here's your spells. Here's your menu. Here's your sub-menus. Here's your town, your map, your trouble, your destiny. Again, just push through. It'll be okay. The magic will click. It'll happen. Just trudge through. Many folks before you have straightened out that bag of snakes, and I'm confident that you can do it too. Tip number 4, save often. This is not a joke. Save your progress. Most games nowadays automatically save progress, right? But don't trust it. Trust no one. If you're playing an older game, assume that it doesn't care about you. It's as indifferent as the rocks on the mountain. It's as indifferent as time itself. Inevitably, some RPGs will send you back to 2004 with one unlucky crit. You'll find yourself staring down a 3-hour journey that you've already trod, simply because you didn't save your game. Save often. If the game said it did it, don't trust it. Do it again anyway. Save like it's your paranoid hobby, or regret it. This brings us to part 4 of the video. That is the but. It is not a but. It is the word but. Look, nothing's perfect. This is the dark side of RPGs, the problems with RPGs. So that's the but. But what about this? These are the pitfalls that new players run into, and I'm trying to give you some advice on how to avoid them. But what about analysis paralysis? There are too many stats in this game. There are too many systems in this game. There are too many menus in this game. But there is a solution. Pick one thing to focus on. Focus on damage, focus on defense, or focus on healing. Everything else will work itself out, or it won't, and you can try again. Once you discover what works, stick with that, or watch a YouTube tutorial. But what about those games that start so slow? That's a legit point. Some RPGs don't get good or whatever until the 4 to 6 hour mark. Here's the trick. Stick with it. I mean, like that's all you have to do is just have faith that this game will get better. Or, weigh your options. Is it worth trudging through and the hours that you put in so far? I guess that's a sunk cost fallacy, right? You don't want to do that. So you don't want to continue to invest if you're not having fun. However, if you're not hooked after like 5 hours or so, then time to get out. Switch games. There's too many good games out there for you to be playing something you don't like. But what about the grind? Well, I think the grind is life, the grind is love, but there can't be too much grinding, I admit that. Old school RPGs expect you to grind like it is a part-time job. Put in your 8 hours walking around the field and grinding. You know what, modern RPGs, they're not so bad. If you feel like the game has too much grinding and you're not playing on an emulator where you can simply fast forward it, or you're not playing an RPG that's been remade or remastered where you can turn up the battle speeds or turn up the experience, you might consider a more modern RPG. Typically those have turned down the grinding quite a bit. Here's something to think about too. If an RPG feels like it wants you to grind, you can often, out-strategize the difficulty instead. Now sometimes it takes some numbers. However, being smart about your battle, that can also help quite a bit. But I'm really feeling a bit burnt out. Well, look, here's the best way to handle that. Don't marathon a game for 60 hours one weekend. You are likely to wake up to rise out of the recliner, speaking in battle menus and craziness. Take some breaks. Treat yourself kindly. Stand up and walk around a little bit. Do something. Your brain will thank you. If it's getting frustrating, just walk away for a moment. I always hated that advice when I was younger because I was like, I can do this. However, just take a break. Play something else, play something simple, play something completely different. But be mindful to avoid burnout because it's easy to do. It's easy to get invested and just lose track of time. And then suddenly you're sick of the game that you love for so long. Next part, yet. This is terrible for the visuals or whatever, but yet is the next section. Here we are. Yet, if you are willing to stick with these games, to try out RPGs, you will have some incredible experiences, and that's what I want to share with you right now. The reasons to stick with it. Every RPG has these moments where when you experience them, you get hooked. There's a reason it's such a popular genre. The first time that you have a moment, a story twist where you go, oh, wow, You know this one. You know the one. You know the twist where you put the controller down and you just stare into space. You dissociate. I could tell you mine, but it's a spoiler. Actually, I'd imagine most of these would be spoilers, but in a general sense, because RPGs are so often centered around, playing a role in a story, and stories subvert our expectations so often, you're in for a real treat. And once you have that feeling of, oh, wow, it's hard to let go of that. You always remember the first boss that annihilates you. If it's bad enough, you probably remember every boss that annihilates you. I do. This builds character, right? It builds character. Wygriff, Sephiroth, and the remake, the four-headed dragon in Dragon Quest III HD 2D, the secret boss in Octopath Traveler, absolutely building character. I don't like it. I sure don't like it, but it does. I've learned persistence. I've learned to put up with stuff that I probably wouldn't. I've learned trauma. When you beat them, though, to the last I grapple with thee. From hell's heart I stab at thee. For hate's sake I spit my last breath at thee. And it feels real good. A moment with RPGs that you'll always remember is when you look up and you realize it's 3 a.m. I have to admit that this happens with, all sorts of gaming, obviously, but it's certainly a staple in RPGs as well. It's just, I don't know, time seems to move differently while you're in RPGs. It's like dog years, but for gamers or something. You've spent a lifetime as a character and it's only been 4 hours. Or you've just scratched the surface of a character's story. You just got to town and now the sun outside is rising. It's weird, but you won't forget it. You always remember the first overpowered skill that you find by accident. Congratulations, you broke the game. And that is a lot of fun in RPGs as well. Like, can I break the game? How wildly can I break the game? It feels like a secret that nobody else knows. It's earned when you discover these items or abilities or strategies, and it's certainly rewarding. When I first discovered the shield rod and the Alucard shield in Symphony of the Night, good grief.
And now I am become death.
This is where everything, your time commitment, your decisions, your party, your growth, it all comes together in that final moment. RPGs simply, they pay off the journey. And that's why the endings hit so hard. And finally, that brings us to So. Now that you've heard the video, like, what do you do? What do you do? Like, what's the deal, right? RPGs thrive. They thrive across generations for one big reason. Because people still need stories. People still need progression. People still need worlds where effort matters and growth is visible, quantifiable, where the journey is long, but the reward is so meaningful, and the experience is absolutely unforgettable. RPGs remind us that change is possible, that growth is real, that small steps matter. And so sometimes we just need a good story to carry us through. Make the video and roll on. We can do this. We'll just post videos about other stuff later. Okay, moving on. We're stopping. I gotta figure out a better way to do this.